April 5th, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 96. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Can we just stop for a second before we get into this episode and just can I just wax poetic for a minute about how torturous of a process it is? How torturous of a process it is to just deal with your bullshit every week. You know? I don't think people understand the full breadth of what I do. I'm a saint. I deserve compensation for the noises that you guys don't have to hear because they're diligently edited out. The trolling whenever we're setting up the record, the 3, 2, and then silence. The mic arm shuffle.
Well, it's if I move, I want to move the mic arm a little bit.
Oh. One of these days I'm gonna fucking snap. It's gonna be I'm gonna be like fucking I'm gonna be like Buddy from Office Space, just like, oh, I'll set the building on fire.
It'll be good for your soul to just let it all out.
Yeah.
Let it all out.
It needs to be let all out. I'll tell you what, I got a release this week. And we'll talk about that later. We both got a sweet release this week, Todd. On a happier note. But I wanna say right off the top, I just wanna fill everybody in on what's going on. We've been talking about this for, several months now. But I will be in Chicago next week for Star Wars Celebration. And as a result of that, you guys, for the next 2 episodes, that's episode 97 and episode 98 for the folks at home, for the mathematically challenged, those 2 episodes will be something that we've never really tried before. They're video game retrospective episodes. Essentially, I had the idea to do that with Todd because, normally when we do evergreen episodes, it's let's pick one big topic and let's, just something that will stand the test of time that we can record and have ready for people while we're out of town or whatever the case may be. We've done this a few times in the past, but we've never just honed in a laser focus on one game. So what we've done is next week you're going to get a BioShock retrospective focusing in on BioShock 1. And then the week after next, you're going to be getting a Borderlands 2 retrospective episode where we just talk about Borderlands. Now, we bleed a little bit into, as we chit-chat, we bleed a little bit into talking about the series that they belong to. But by and large, we're focusing on these one games, singularly. But, we, of course, as the conversation naturally flows, we end up talking about the series in general and stuff like that. But... I think it's sort of I think it's cool. I kind of like having these archival tomes recorded in podcast form that are just dedicated to a certain video game that we love. I like it. And anyway, hopefully you guys like it too. That's going to be the next 2 weeks of Nerd Bourbon podcasts that you guys are going to have are going to be video game retrospectives while I'm in Chicago. And then episode 99, I will be back in town. And I'm sure Todd and I are pretty much going to spend most of that episode just talking about the trip in general. So, and then the week after that, of course, is episode 100. And I have nothing planned. Just so we're clear. There's no special. I do want to do something special, Todd.
I mean, the only plan I had was the drink during that episode.
I think there should be drinking involved. We've tried to do that in the past, and I don't think it's ever really worked. I mean, obviously there is the sort of bachelor party episode where we drank.
Fantastic episode.
And that, well, it's an episode. I like to go back and listen to that episode, but I don't know
I
how.
love it. It's basically I can just experience that night again. It was just
a
great time.
Little time capsule.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of curious to see. I guess we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm going to plan something. I think, I want to go back and dig up some old recordings. Maybe I'll even include a little, maybe I'll include some garbage snippets of the actual first podcast we recorded.
Oh, no. Nerd Bourbon of old.
The old times, the dark times. Maybe I'll grab some of those and put those in there because I'm sure a lot of these listeners have never heard.
Was the first episode me? Was the first episode me and you talking about Bloodborne?
Yes.
Oh Lord.
Yes, we did. We did one about Bloodborne. We did one about Far Cry, and we did one about we did Titan Souls when we came up with the idea of shots.
Yes, the original shots.
So
Shot.
yeah, which would not actually fly. That is not something that I would do today. But anyway, I think that's probably episode 100 is probably going to be a lot of that, a lot of sort of reminiscing, and maybe I'll even include some clips from the Nerd Bourbon archives, the sacred texts, as it were. Anyway, what have you been playing, Todd?
Well, still not enough Sekiro.
Of course.
I have put more time into it, and got a better grasp of the mechanics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's a really good game. It's just in a weird way, like the game hasn't like grabbed me. In like most FromSoft games usually do.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just?
I honestly don't know. Maybe I think what it really is going to boil down to is just like where I'm at in my life.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like you've been getting a little bit of a video game funk. So I was kind of wondering if it was one of those things where like the Sekiro just doesn't have the right shape right now. It's
kind of where it is. It's like it's not doesn't suit what I want right now. It's just like where I am in my life. I can't find myself like wanting to play it, which is like fucked up of me to say because like I want to play it in a way, but it's just there's other things.
We had this conversation just earlier today. We're like, here's the thing: like playing video games is not our job.
Yeah,
it's not like I like to stay current. I like to play games and current games to talk about them on the show, but like ultimately, I play video games to have fun.
Yep.
And I'm gonna play the video games I want to play, and if a game isn't speaking to me, I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been at, and I think we actually were talking like one of the things you said earlier today is like the heart wants, what the heart wants.
Yeah.
And what my heart's been wanting is some Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean like that's the thing is like I've got a massive backlog of other shit, and in the back of my mind it's always there. Oh, you should be playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you should be playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you should be playing this, you should be playing that, but it's like, I don't want to play any of that. I want to play what I want to play, you know? But yeah, so it's Borderlands right now.
Yep, been playing, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 2, been playing on my, like, it's funny, it's like this, I basically had to start over on PlayStation, but when I say I started over, I mean, I don't have all my fucking like every character max level, bunch of bullshit. But I still got like a level like 56 Krieg or whatever. I'm like on my like ultimate Vault Hunter playthrough, having a lot of fun with him. I love Krieg. Krieg's just
he's a fun character
to play.
Yeah,
a lot of he's like high risk, high reward. Love that shit. And then just today, like at the time of this recording, the Borderlands 1 remaster came out, the Game of the Year edition.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest, that right there, I'm not too far into it. I'm like level 11. Like,
I mean, the game quite literally just, at the time we're recording this, it literally came out today.
Yeah, so I didn't play like a lot, but I played a decent little bit. But I'll tell you right now, that right there had me giggling and like smiling like a fucking idiot.
The nostalgia is cranked up to 11, man.
Holy shit. The initial cutscene, I'm just sitting there like, it's bad.
It's funny how many like memories came rushing back to me when I loaded that up.
Mm-hmm.
From the initial cutscene to like hearing the Firestone like music, and hearing like some of the voice lines. And
getting, it's like, getting to the whole Nine Toes thing, like that's still like had me smile. I didn't like laugh at it, but it was just a good smile because it's just nostalgia.
It's pure nostalgia. I'll never forget like when Borderlands 1 first came out. Like it was such a like weird like thing. It was such a weird shot in the arm because I mean there's never there was never anything like that. I mean, yeah, we have all kinds of other looter shooters, as it were. Now, I hate that term, but we have.
It is what it is, though. You can't deny it.
There's no, I guess, better way of saying it. But I mean, like, yeah, we have the Destinies and the, and the Anthems and stuff like that now. But Borderlands really was the progenitor to all of them.
Yep.
And so it's like it's funny, like just going and sort of reminiscing of how purely unique Borderlands 1 was when it came out, So yeah, it's been a nice. I'll say this, like I played it for like an hour just now, and I got to like level 7 or something like that, and it's been a lot of fun. Like it's, again, the nostalgia overload is real.
Yeah, once they iron the kinks out, I wouldn't mind actually playing it with you.
That's the thing, is it's pretty rough right now. And as of right now, they may release like a patch or something like that soon, but like we couldn't play together. The trophy sync isn't working right now. There are people that were even reporting some more egregious issues on the subreddit.
Like what? Like what else? Like shit.
There's all kinds of shit, like they like their characters like wouldn't like they would like get levels, and then they would like quit the game and then load back in, and it would act like they didn't get any other levels.
Oh, I'm happy I haven't had those issues.
Like the game isn't saving properly. So
I mean, it's like they kind of asked for it with like just dropping it like this.
That's what I was saying too, is because I'm like, you guys, and the thing about this is all of these issues are server side issues. It's because I don't think they expected as many people to buy this as people are, and this is strengthened by the fact that GameStop, the exclusive physical retailer of the game, is actually back ordered on physical copies. So they're back ordered for like 2 weeks on physical copies of the game.
That's the thing. I don't really think they realize like how starved motherfuckers are to play Borderlands 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they realized that like this was going to be a big deal for a lot of people.
Well, I knew like the moment a Borderlands 1 remaster was going to come out, like I was going to be there like day one. Like I knew that from like the get-go. Like
I was surprised it took them this long, honestly, to re-release Borderlands 1. And so, I mean, it's nice. I mean, like that's what I keep coming back to, is like it's so nice to have the entire series under one roof, And like presumably with PS5, PS5 is going to be it better be backwards compatible. So, you're always going to have a current way to play the Borderlands series for the foreseeable future, which is very nice. So I love that. It's nice. I'm looking forward to playing some more of it. We both been playing some Borderlands 2, both in co-op and solo. So it's just been a nice hit of Borderlands in general. Here,
one of the funny things is like both of my characters that I'm playing in 2 and 1 are melee based.
And the character you're going to play in 3 is going to be melee based.
Damn straight.
And we will certainly get into Borderlands 3 at the end of the show. I'm going to save that for last because I know that's going to be the meat of our discussion. I know we're both ready and raring to talk about Borderlands 3, but yeah, that was definitely a shot in the arm this week in terms of like, wow, Borderlands. I played a little Yoshi's Crafted World last night. I played it for maybe 2 hours, and it's, I don't want to speak authoritatively on it. I'm going to play much more of it on the plane ride. That's basically going to be my plane buddy flying up to Chicago. So when I come back from Chicago, I'll have a lot more to say about it. But
I honestly forgot that game came out.
Yeah, it came out like last week. I just hadn't had a chance to play it. I've been so busy getting all of this stuff together, getting all these podcasts done, and getting stuff written for D&D and stuff like that. Just basically finalizing everything that I need to finalize before I pack up and go to Chicago. I've been very, very busy, so I haven't even had a chance to touch it until just last night, and it's really fun. Like I don't, it's funny because like comparative to other Yoshi games, it's definitely like it's probably the most different that it's been in a while, because the Yoshi games, they basically just follow the Yoshi's Island formula and have for a minute, and they sort of build upon it slightly, and there's different visual styles. Like we last had Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U, which was sort of like a yarn style. And this one is kind of like just crafts in general. So there's like paper and cardboard and all sorts. It's very, very cute, very beautiful game with a cute sort of soundtrack. But this one feels more like tactile and deliberate than the other ones had. So I don't know. Have you ever played a Yoshi game? Like Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story? Never. Okay.
Never.
Yeah. So one of the main mechanics of the Yoshi games is you can throw your eggs, right?
Okay.
And in previous Yoshi games, you would kind of like ready your egg, and then a cursor would come up, and it would sort of like rotate, and you would have to like time it just right to throw the egg where you wanted to throw it, right? Well, in this one, you have precise control of where you want to throw your egg. And the reason for that is because the levels have like different layers of depth to them, so you can shoot things that are in the foreground and in the background now. And there are even like sections of levels where the entire stage actually flips around and you're playing on the backside of the stage. So the game is like very complex. I can already tell that it's going to be a little bit short because like even just in the couple of hours that I played, I got like pretty far. But it's going to be one of those games where you want to go back for collectibles and stuff like that. And, it's going to be a fun like co-op game. And I'm sure after you beat the game, there's going to be like incentive to go back and maybe, go through like special worlds or whatever. But, so far it's early, but I'm enjoying it so far. I really loved Yoshi's Woolly World. So I'm hoping this ends up stacking alongside that. So, but I'll have more to say about that when honestly, I imagine that between all the plane writing I'm going to be doing, I'm sure I'll have beaten it by the time I get home. So, but anyway, that's pretty much it for me. I know like you and I have basically been balls deep in Borderlands, so I think that's been the bulk of what we've been playing. Are you ready to get into some news?
Yes.
Are you ready for some news, Mr. Todd?
Yes, Mr. Singer.
I've got some here. So let's take this in a Bethesda direction, shall we? Because I said this, we sort of mused on this either last week or the week before, but I want to reiterate, no, seriously, what is Bethesda bringing to E3 this year?
Fucking nothing, because they legitimately said that they're not going to show any more ESO and Starfield.
During the Bethesda Game Day stream at PAX East, Todd Howard attempted to temper the expectations of rabid fans, hoping to get any bit of information regarding Starfield or The Elder Scrolls 6. Quote, "Before everyone asks, please be patient," Howard said. "It's going to be a long time. It's not something we're going to be talking about at E3, either of those games this year. Patience, please." End quote. Todd, it's almost like revealing these games too early was a massive fucking mistake.
What? No way. I still thought that shit was hilarious, like last E3. Like,
I can't believe
that fucking nothing teaser. Like, that shit was incredible.
Oh my god, Elder Scrolls 6!
Everybody's standing up, just clapping, losing their fucking shit. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, and they dug themselves such a hole, dude, because like now they're going to be asked about that from here until 2025 when the fucking game releases.
They fucked up, man. Like, it's like, what? Like, honestly, what are they gonna show now? Like,
they're saying both games are next gen games. Well, like Starfield is probably at the very earliest, because next gen consoles aren't going to come out until next fall. Well, at the very earliest, Starfield will come out next fall, and it'll be an early cycle kind of like PS5 game. I almost don't even see that happening. I almost think it's going to be like a spring 2021 sort of thing. And then like Elder Scrolls 6, who knows? God only knows. Like, I have no idea when Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out.
Like, I don't know why the fuck they're even having a fucking conference.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got to have something, right? There's got to be something.
Was it another musical guest, like I joked last time?
I want to. What do you think? I mean, if anything, like what could they possibly be bringing? I mean, we talked about this before, but Doom Eternal obviously is going to be a big deal. I'm pretty positive Evil Within 3 is going to be there. Like, there almost certainly will not be anything Dishonored related because Dishonored has bombed.
Dishonored is essentially dead now. Like, that's...
Yes, Dishonored's basically done. There's not really too much more you can do with that. But, maybe Arcane is working on a new IP. I mean, they released Prey.
That could be something. Yeah, they could... Yeah.
I sort of feel like maybe Arcane's got a new IP up their sleeve. Maybe they're working with an existing IP. I'm not too sure what Bethesda owns and what they don't. But, Rage will have just come out by the time that E3 comes around. Maybe they'll announce like some DLC for Rage or something like that.
No, that's easy shit.
But like, yeah, you're not gonna have any like big heavy hitters at E3. The only thing, Todd, that I can think that would be actually considered like a pretty massive heavy hitter is if they remade Oblivion. Almost wonder if they would do an Oblivion remake.
Let me tell you right now, my dick moved when you said that shit. See, Oblivion's my favorite Elder Scrolls. I've said this a lot. Like,
right.
I've said this many times throughout the years.
Yeah, I almost wonder if that's something that they would be interested in doing. It wouldn't be as easy as Skyrim though. Like, it would actually require a lot of work to port Oblivion up, but I almost wonder if that's something that they would be interested in doing.
Shit, I'll just wait for that mod. Was it Sky Oblivion?
Yeah. Well,
they got Skywind.
Yeah. I was sort of like, I'm just sort of curious. Like, I almost don't feel like they would do Morrowind as much as I would love for them to do Morrowind.
Morrowind would be even harder. Shit.
Yeah, Morrowind would be even harder. They would essentially have to like remake the game. But for Oblivion, I mean, like, for me, I'm like, that would be a really neat little package, and it would kind of like calm people down a little bit, give people a little bit of Elder Scrolls taste, But they've also kind of fucked themselves into a corner with that too, though, because now they're just gonna be like, oh, fucking, all you're doing is releasing your old games. You're not releasing any new games. Blah blah blah. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. That's the only thing I can think of. And, it's not like they're going to come out with a Morrowind remaster because A, that would be harder. B, they just touched on it with Elder Scrolls Online. Yep. So if they're going to remake any of them, I kind of imagine it would be Oblivion. So I don't know. The last release of Oblivion that we had was in 2011 with a 5th anniversary edition in 2011. So
yeah.
And there's no moons aligning or anything like that. There's no like anniversary coming up or anything like that. I mean, Oblivion came out March 20th, 2006. So, I mean, there's no special significance.
God, that just made me feel old as shit.
Tell me about it. Like, that game is
My
over 13
God.
years old. So.
And I have such fond memories of playing that game like virtually naked on the computer.
It's a great game. I mean, like, I would love to see, something like that. I mean, honestly, though, I think they're going to go ham on, like, the little shit, though. I think I have tempered my expectations.
I feel like we're going to see more of their, I think that mobile game of theirs is, like, is it in beta right now? Or what's
Blades, yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably see more of that crap, which I don't give a shit about.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of, like, drops in the bucket for Bethesda at E3 this year. I can't imagine... Like, I can't even fathom what a megaton announcement from Bethesda looks like at this point. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But continuing...
Fallout New Vegas, too. No.
Shit. That would be awesome, though.
Bro, I would freak out.
But responding to an online petition as we continue our Bethesda news here, Bethesda is immortalizing Shirley Skyrim Grandma Curry.
Love it.
In the Elder Scrolls 6.
Love it.
So good. The 82-year-old YouTuber was invited out to Bethesda's home office in Maryland, where she met the team and had her likeness captured and rendered in-engine.
Love that shit.
Quote, "This means a lot to me," Curry says, "because I would be extremely happy to know that somebody else was playing with my character in a future Elder Scrolls game." So cool. So cool of them to do that.
Dude, it would be so fucking crazy if they made her like a follower.
Yeah, well, to do that, they would probably go for voice lines, too, and she didn't do any voice recording, so...
Damn.
I think she's probably going to be just like a standard NPC with somebody else voicing her. It's probably just going to be her likeness.
Yeah, either way, though, it's still cool.
Did you read about how this whole thing started?
No, actually, I didn't.
So it started off as like a Reddit thread where somebody was talking about Skyrim Grandma, and Skyrim Grandma herself jumped into the thread and said, like, well, like, I'm trying not to get too hyped up about Elder Scrolls 6 because I'll probably be dead by the time it comes out. Like, she's 82 years old. She's just being realistic, you know? She's like, so, like, I'm probably going to be gone by the time it comes out. And so that spurred fans to start up a petition, which quickly gained a lot of traction. It had, like, thousands of signatures within, like, 24 hours. And Bethesda, you know, took note of it and flew her out. And, you know.
And, you know, Bethesda's trying to get all the goodwill they can right now.
Yeah. It was like, we'll pay for this old lady a plane ticket, but we'll get back dividends and goodwill.
The dividends.
This will pay back in good fortunes. No, but I'm happy for her though. Look, Skyrim Grandma is a treasure.
That shit is like so wholesome and like heartwarming.
That is just some wholesome content. I have had such a fucking bug up my ass to play Skyrim, and like,
dude,
I was watching some of her videos, and it just made it so much worse.
Oh, I believe it, dude. I get that feeling. Like, there's like you get that like itch to play like an Elder Scrolls game
because there's nothing else. That's why people are so ravenous. Is because like love them or hate them, like people don't make games like that. Like There are games that are similar, you know. There are people who are doing similar things to what Bethesda does, but nobody really does what Bethesda does. Yeah. And that's why as much shit, I mean, I would go as far as to say I don't think we've talked as much shit about any other developer probably in the history of this podcast than Bethesda. It's like Bethesda and BioWare they both have our shit smeared all over their faces.
But again, I was gonna talk shit a little bit. I used to talk shit about Oopsie Soft back in the day, but
yeah. But I don't think anybody's caught more shit from us than Bethesda in almost 100 episodes of this podcast. I mean, like, but that's only because I love them so much.
Yeah,
I hold them to a higher standard because what they do really is, when it works and when it's good, it really is magical.
Yeah.
And those games really are unparalleled. They're in a league of their own, the Oblivions and the Skyrims. Like, when these games come out and they work and everything is great, that's diamonds. When all those moons align properly and Bethesda's on their A game, like, it's magic, you know?
Yep.
So that's why I hold them up to a higher standard than everybody else. I don't know. But very cool of them. Very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing Skyrim Grandma forever immortalized in the Elder Scrolls 6 whenever that game one day comes out. And I hope she lives a very long life, and I hope she gets to play it. Moving along, I've got a little bit of Nintendo news, Todd, before we get into
I was playing.
before we get into the big news drop that I'm sure is going to take up the bulk of this show. Let's a little bit of Nintendo news. So, according to a listing found in Best Buy's inventory system, Persona 5, the Metroid Prime trilogy, and weirdly, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past are heading to Switch. A Switch port of Persona 5 was sort of expected because of Joker's inclusion in Smash Ultimate, and a port of the Metroid Prime trilogy has been it's been rumored for a long time. And in fact, there was even people were saying that it was actually going to be revealed in the last Nintendo Direct. But the Link to the Past one is weird to me. I don't even know what that indicates. Like, looking at this, I'm like, Persona 5 coming to Switch, okay, no big deal. Of course it is. Like, that game runs on PS3. Like, that game was released on PS3 in Japan. So, it can definitely run on Switch. I'm not worried about that. So, I always sort of figured that there was going to be a Persona 5 port. And they've got this, like, Persona 5 R or whatever that they're unveiling at the end of the month. I'm sure that's coming to Switch. Joker's coming to Smash. It just makes sense, right? The Metroid Prime trilogy coming to Switch, that just makes sense. Port that. That's an easy port. Give people that Metroid Prime itch now that you've delayed 4. I think that makes a lot of sense. But what could it mean? A Link to the Past, specifically, is so odd to have in Best Buy's inventory system. So, this could mean a few things. There was a rumor, I don't know if you remember a few months ago, there was a rumor where they found some source code in, like, the Nintendo Switch Online that listed several Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, maybe is that going to be is that kind of like implying that Super Nintendo titles are going to be added to the Switch imminently? Because if it's in Best Buy's online system, that sort of means that the games are going to be purchased separately and not distributed through like the NES games are right now. Because the NES games are just once a month, you just get some free NES games.
Yeah.
So that sort of implies that the Link to the Past thing is going to be available separately. Are you just going to throw it up on the eShop for me to buy? Are you going to, is Best Buy... Why? And if you are, why is it in Best Buy's inventory? Are they going to be selling like download cards for them in stores? It's just weird.
It's weird. Yeah, it's just weird.
It's weird. And they almost certainly aren't going to be putting out like a sort of like remaster of A Link to the Past when they have Link's Awakening coming out. So I don't know. It's a weird one for me. I feel like we just got a Nintendo Direct relatively recently, but I sort of feel like we're going to get another one before E3. I just got that feeling in my balls. Because like there's all these little leaks coming out that I'm just like,
The balls never lie.
I frankly, I just would not be shocked by the end of April, beginning of May, give us a Nintendo Direct to kind of like, put these little things out in the ether. There's also like been some leaks, like a June 21st release date for Super Mario Maker and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of nice to have just like, just a quick little, even if it was just a little 15-minute Direct to be like, here's some shit, that isn't necessarily going to fit in our E3 press conference. Metroid Prime port, Persona 5 port, that doesn't necessarily belong at E3, but it would make sense to have a little short Direct before E3 to kind of get some of the fat trimmed. So I don't know. I'm predicting that end of April, beginning of May, Nintendo Direct. All will be revealed, Todd. Let's get into the big boy, Todd. I've got a lot of news here and a lot of bullet points here about Borderlands 3. So Gearbox made waves during their PAX East panel with several Borderlands-related news drops. They revealed Tiny Tina's Robot Tea Party card game, the first board game to utilize the Borderlands license, which, all right.
That's whatever.
The first Borderlands game, of course, as we talked about earlier, has been remastered with 4K Ultra HD textures. And those same 4K textures also were updated and patched into the Handsome collection.
Actually, speaking of, Angel looks different in 2 as well.
Oh, really? They changed her too?
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Because I'm like at the part I'm on is I was heading to the fridge.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's pretty similar to how she's looking in Borderlands 1.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a little that like whole like kind of like that little dot particle effect sort of thing they're going with. Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. They also that's something that we should mention. So they did add several quality of life improvements to the Borderlands 1 Game of the Year edition. So like just little things like having a mini map,
Again, I've been saying this from the get-go is like there was always a spot for a mini map.
Yeah, and it makes like so much sense to see it up there that like you almost forget.
Because like, dude, even the objectives were always in that same spot,
right?
With like just a gap in the corner of the fucking screen.
Again, it makes so much sense for that mini map to be up there. You almost forget that it was never there in the first place.
Oh, it just feels right. It just
feels right. And like, yeah, when little things like when money or ammo is dropped and health and stuff, you just pick it up automatically. You don't have to physically press square or anything like that. So
yeah,
little tiny improvements like that are nice. And they've added a few head skins to for the characters, which is nice. Give you a little extra customization that wasn't there.
A little bit of customization. That's like they're not like anything crazy, but they're nice.
Nice to have nonetheless. Little extra customization. Never hurt anybody. But, they ended their panel with what we all wanted. They finally, Todd, announced Borderlands 3 with a announcement trailer.
Now, when I tell you that this trailer got me emotional in multiple ways,
In multiple ways, huh?
Kind of teared up. Dick was hard. Like, bunch of shit was going on. My ass puckered a little bit.
Let's talk about the trailer for a second, because I personally felt like it was a great.
That was a perfect trailer. Yeah, it was like a perfect trailer. That was the ideal trailer of it. Like, you know, like when you think of a trailer for anything, that's what it should do. It got me excited, and I wanted to see more. You know what I mean?
Here's the brilliant thing that I think / hope that Gearbox is going to be doing this. It seems like they're going to be sort of implementing a strategy of like, let's drip feed sort of information and content up until the game's release. So they announced this last Thursday, technically, during their panel. Obviously, it was a little too late for us to record the podcast, you know, after that. So we missed it, as always happens. But they sort of said, but come back, you know, next week, April 3rd, for more details, right?
Yeah.
So we've been given more details and whatnot, and so like now the next sort of carrot on the stick is come back May 1st, where we're gonna reveal the first bits of gameplay. So I'm kind of hoping they keep that up, just like once a month, you know, just drip feed me some content until September. Just let me see some stuff, show off the action skills, you know, blah blah blah. But yeah, the trailer. What are some things? What were some standout things that you think were, you know, shown off in the trailer that really, you know, made your skirt blow up?
My player character, Amara.
Yes.
Rocking the 6 arms. Let's go.
That was really cool. That was a cool shot.
Yeah, the moment like these kind of like exploded. Basically, it's like, well, hello, my character that I'm going to be playing.
She has like these 6 sort of these 6 like siren. She's the siren of the game. These 6 arms that sort of come out of her side, and yeah, it looks like she like slams them to the ground. She looks really cool.
So it's like I'm wondering like who is going to be the tanky character, like, because it can go either way. It can be her, or it could be what's her name, Woes?
Yeah, it's interesting. So and I'm actually going to get into that because we do have some sort of more confirmed details of what the characters' names are and sort of what their roles are. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I don't think, you know, and I've never really subscribed to the idea of like, I don't think there necessarily needs to be a character like this is the tank and this is the, you know,
there's certain things. It's like you want a beefier character though, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that is a thing.
One thing that they have not confirmed yet, but this was actually something that was rumored, was that actually kind of playing into that, there's going to be like the concept of builds is going to be heavier in Borderlands 3 supposedly than it ever has been before, even to the extent of like characters are going to have multiple action skills depending on your build. Like you may be playing as like Moze, and you may be able to play her as a straight tank, you know, but maybe there's a build where she's more of a support, you know, maybe.
That'll be interesting. I'm like definitely looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with shit like that.
So I'm sure this is the kind of stuff that I'm hoping they sort of slowly reveal until the game comes out. We got a look at in this trailer, a look at our new Vault Hunters, which I was a little surprised that, you know, so we kind of knew the direction that Borderlands 3 was going to come into, like basically as soon as you finish pre-sequel, you're like, okay, well, Borderlands 3 are going to go to multiple worlds and multiple vaults,
and that's virtually been confirmed.
That's essentially been confirmed at this point, and that's going to play a major part of Borderlands 3's story, unsurprisingly. But you know, I sort of felt like the obvious direction to go with that was to like make it sort of a Destiny style active world kind of thing. I'm
kind of happy they're not.
I'm so glad they're not doing that though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want them to do that.
Like that seemed like the obvious route to go. And if they had released this game earlier and followed gaming trends, that may have been the direction they were going to go. I mean, they've been working on this game for I think Randy actually said he's working on the game for over 5 years.
Yep.
So I mean, I wonder if that was ever in the design document at one point, and they sort of went back to the drawing board and said, like, no, like, let's make this a Borderlands game. Very, very, very cool stuff. We've got some new villains, the Calypso twins, which, from what we've gathered, looking at the trailer, looks like they are the head of a cult called the Children of the Vault. And from what I've read, it seems like they actually have united all of the bandit clans under the Children of the Vault cult. So that's sort of their whole deal. And there's some interesting implications with the trailer that people are sort of pointing out that, it seems as if they're both sirens, but as you know, Todd, as we all well know, there can only be 6 sirens at a time, and they're all female.
Don't speak to me of the lore, boy.
We all well know we are steeped in the Borderlands lore. But yeah, there's only 6 sirens at a time, and they're all supposed to be female.
Yep.
And so here we have a set of twins, which either puts us right at the amount of sirens or over, depending. And one of them is a man. So that's weird. Like that alone is weird. So I'm curious the implications. So we got a shot of Lilith in this trailer without her tattoos. And as a matter of fact, people have been able to match up the dude has got Lilith's tattoos on him.
So yeah.
So the implication is that somehow Lilith, either her powers were drained by this other siren and transferred to the brother, or
yeah, because I was looking at that. I was looking at that, like, that necklace he has.
Right.
They had like that kind of like orange, fiery sort of shit that Lilith usually has going on.
Right.
So I'm wondering if like that's where he's holding it, basically.
Well, there are a few sort of things where people are like, maybe the female Calypso twin, stole Lilith's power somehow, but maybe Lilith gave it up somehow. Maybe it was like a willing transfer of power. And this has led people to theorize maybe Lilith actually turns. Maybe Lilith actually kind of goes on their side and willingly gives up her power to the Calypso twins. Because if you pick this trailer apart, there are several notions of brainwashing. Several signs that they're like free brainwashing, like the culty brainwashy aspect is going to play a big part of the sort of narrative with the Calypso twins. So, I mean, it could be possible that maybe Lilith was brainwashed into giving up her powers to this dude, and maybe at that point Lilith isn't even a siren anymore.
Interesting.
That could be interesting. And quite frankly, we sort of see, especially after the death of Roland in Borderlands 2, we sort of see the dark side of Lilith emerge a little bit.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So I almost wonder if she has kind of a fuck this shit mentality, and so her damaged mind is more easily corrupted. You know what I mean? To that end, it sort of seems like a lot of the Vault Hunters are splintered off, because if you notice, the shots that we see of the different Vault Hunters from the past in this trailer, they're never all together. And in fact, some of them we don't see at all, right?
Yep.
In the trailer.
I think the main ones we see are like we see Lilith. I know we see Mordecai. We see Mordecai, Brick, and Tiny Tina together.
Yes, we see them together. All of them, if you look at their outfits in that shot, all of them have got the letter B emblazoned onto their outfits. So, could it be that Tiny Tina has her own little kind of faction now?
Yeah.
And then, we obviously see that shot with, like, Reese and Zero, sort of wondering what's going on with them.
Like, that shit was so good.
So, yeah, that's another thing that I really love about this is, like, that was the first thing as I was texting you as you were watching this. I was like, Tales from the Borderlands is required playing now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, it really is. And it's funny. That's, like, without a doubt, like, it's still my favorite Tales game. My favorite Telltale game.
That game is so excellent. And like if you're a Borderlands fan, if you're not a Borderlands fan, that game is so good. You guys should not sleep on that game. Like that is it's so good.
Like it's funny is like I think every song that they use for like an intro is on my playlist.
So good, man. And it actually does stuff. Like I'll say this, it's not my favorite Telltale game. It's up there. It's way up there. But one thing that Tales from the Borderlands does that no other Telltale game has done as well, or done at all, really, is your choices really do matter. At the end of Tales from the Borderlands, I mean, yeah, you know, just like all these games, you're going to end up at roughly the same point. But like, there's that moment where you have the money to spend and the people that you can sort of have in the final battle. Like, that shit actually was really cool. I was like, oh, wow, like, if I had done this different or that different, like I could have totally different people here with me right now. That was really effective for me. Like Tales games, you know, Telltale games don't normally go that hard on choice, you know. So I got, you know, Tales from the Borderlands is a really excellent game, and you know, again, there are some major things, surprisingly major things. I don't want to spoil anything, but there are surprisingly major things for the Borderlands lore and the plot at large with the characters at large that happen in that game. To where, like, I was sort of worried that they were going to strike it from canon or they were going to, like, sort of, like, backtrack on it. But no, they're not doing that at all.
It's all fucking canon, motherfuckers.
It's all canon. And, like...
You can actually see in the game information that a manufacturer is back because of that shit.
Because of the events of Tales. So, like...
Atlas boys.
So it's really interesting, and so it's to the point where it's like if you want the full Borderlands experience, I mean Tales is a Borderlands game. You need to play it to get the full grasp of the plot. So very, very cool, very, very interesting. I gotta hand it to him. I mean, this trailer gave me just enough to be very interested in the plot of a Borderlands game, which is saying something. Because I think that. You know, I think that especially when you're looking at Borderlands 1, I think that the story kind of like doesn't do anything but get more interesting as the Borderlands story progresses from 1 on. You know,
the one thing that I can take from the trailer is they found a really good way to show that how much time has passed.
Yes,
with everybody having a mustache.
You know, I think they were saying that it's been like 5 or 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, it would make sense with like how old Tiny Tina's looking.
Yeah, so you know, so Tiny Tina,
she's averaged.
Yeah. Yeah, so Tiny Tina is now like, you know, 16, 17 rather than being like 10 or 11 or whatever. So, yeah. You know, and I gotta, you know, you gotta shout out the Brick sax solo.
Oh my god, that shit actually broke me.
I was chuckling at the sort of standard Borderlands humor that was in the trailer, but like that, I full on died. That was so good. And like, you know, again, just I was sort of like, you know, and we may have even talked about this on the podcast. Sort of came into Borderlands 3 with a certain level of fear.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like worried, and I still, to a certain degree, am.
I think in the back of my mind, I am still fearful that this game will not live up to the hype that is around it for me personally right now.
Right.
But Lord knows I'm still going to buy it day one.
But the thing about it is like the trailer did a lot to assuage my fears. Like the trailer made me laugh. The trailer, you know, got me interested in the story. The trailer sort of gave me a taste of like the things to come. Guns with legs. What?
Yes. That's the thing. It did exactly its job. That was a perfect trailer.
Yeah. So, but we did get some more details even outside of the trailer now that, you know, the sort of, you know, the sort of initial hype has died down. Gearbox did release some more details, including new information on like the new Vault Hunters, the various different editions that the game has on offer. So I want to go through all that stuff because there are obviously 4 new playable Vault Hunters. There's a lot of like different versions of the game that I just sort of want to cover before we wrap up the show. But so first off, we've got Woes the Gunner. And I've got official little like snippets of brief kind of 1-sentence descriptions that Gearbox has provided for these characters. So Moe's the gunner. When Moe's needs backup, she digistructs her mech Iron Bear for a sucker punch of additional firepower. Here's what disappoints me about this. Because originally I was like, oh, I'm all about Moe's. I thought it was going to be a legit fucking bear. It's just a Titanfall mech named Iron Bear. But apparently, this has not been confirmed, but it seems like, according to a leak a while ago, players can have their partner, their co-op partner, like, ride on the mech with them, which is cool. But, I don't know, might not be my thing, but I can already imagine, like, with the different action skills, I could already imagine maybe it takes a Titanfall approach where the tank can be summoned as a more active role rather than me jumping in the tank myself, you know? So... Kind of passively running around, you know? I could already see that. We've got Amara as the Siren, a confident, capable brawler with the ability to summon ethereal fists. Amara used her Siren powers to smash her enemies.
Yes.
So, already, and a very cool design. The Sirens always have such great character designs. So.
Again, moment I saw her. It's like, let's go.
So this is the character that I think I'm actually going to fall on for my first playthrough, at least. FL4K, Flak the Beastmaster.
It's funny, is it's actually the second character I was interested in.
Yeah, so Flak lives for the hunt. So do the loyal beasts that follow their master's every command. Their preferred prey? Unsuspecting bandits, those poor suckers. So it looks like Flak is going to be able to control 3 different sorts of beasts that we've seen so far.
Skag, Spider Ant, and a rat, right?
So that seems like that's going to be sort of his shit. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the skill trees and the different action skills that are involved with that. Finally, we have Zane as the Operative, which is another one that I'm interested in. Specializing in battlefield gadgetry, Zane is extremely proficient at slipping into combat, creating chaos, and sneaking back out as if he were never there. So... He's sort of like the assassin character of the game, but he seems like he's going to be much more. He's going to be stealthy, but it seems like he's going to be much more gadget based.
That can honestly be more interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing more actual gameplay of each of the characters.
That may be on May 1st. We're getting a sort of gameplay reveal, so maybe we'll get some more information about the characters and their sort of breadth of their options, gameplay options and action skills and whatnot. These new Vault Hunters will be facing off against the Calypso twins, which we talked about earlier, who are, quote, uniting the bandit clans and claiming the galaxy's ultimate power, end quote. Players will have over 1 billion guns to utilize, including firearms with self-propelling bullet shields, rifles that spawn fire-spewing volcanoes, and guns that grow legs and chase down enemies while hurling verbal insults.
God bless.
So just to get a bit of a taste of like the craziness that we're going to get with some of these guns. Over 1 billion guns, man. That's a lot of guns.
It's very easy to do shit like that with the way Borderlands works with their guns, is because like each piece of the gun that builds a certain gun,
right?
There's just so many different variations. That's how Borderlands does their shit.
This has not been officially confirmed by Gearbox, but according to the leak that I've referred back to several, it was a very accurate leak, so I have to imagine that this is real. It seems like Borderlands 3 is going to feature a lot of gun customization and modification also. So
it looks like they're adding like weapon skins now. So.
Yeah, so in addition to there being 1 billion guns, there are going to be, however many mods and upgrades. I mean, it seems like even though there are 1 billion guns, it seems like they're going to be an almost infinite number of customization options. So I'm looking forward to seeing them lift the curtain on that officially and seeing how deep that rabbit hole goes. Before we wrap up the show and wrap up our Borderlands talk here, I do want to just go through and talk about the different versions of the game. Just to inform our audience, there are going to be several different editions of the game. Notably, I do want to say, the game will be an Epic Game Store exclusive on PC until April 2020.
People are already rioting.
Oh, they're pissed. What do you make of that?
And well, people got to get the fuck you. They got to get used to it, man. Like it's what's happening now. It's funny. I saw Randy Pitchford fucking tweet about it. It's like, hey, if you got any problems, don't tweet at me. Tweet at 2K basically.
Right. This does not amuse Randy Pitchford.
Because again, it's like it's not Gearbox that fucking did it. You know, it's the.
Can I just say that was my favorite thing as we were.
Oh shit!
As we were fucking watching that Gearbox panel, just like I think we were both typing it at the same time. Even
we were.
Like Randy Pitcher was on stage, just happy to be announcing Borderlands 3, and I was just like, to the amusement of Randy Pitchford. That's become such an inside joke for us. To those who don't know what we're talking about, this was several episodes, like months ago, we did an episode of the podcast where I covered a news story where Randy Pitchford lost a kind of context-sensitive USB that included like game documents and stuff like that got leaked. That he lost it in a medieval times, and it became like a big like lawsuit against like some lawyer that used to work for Gearbox. And anyway, within the lawsuit, the lawyer said something to the effect of like Randy Pitchford would throw like sex parties and have like strippers in front of little boys to the amusement of Randy Pitchford.
Like honestly, like I usually don't laugh that hard, but that got
you
me.
know what?
That
You know
episode.
what? Let's play the clip. Calendar has also accused Pitchford of holding parties in which, quote, adult men have reportedly exposed themselves to minors to the amusement of Randy Pitchford. So yeah, that's basically where that comes from. It has become an inside joke for Todd and I here. That's just such a funny thought, to the amusement of Randy Pitchford. Anyway,
I still love it.
Anyway, so we've got a few different versions of Borderlands 3. The Borderlands 3 launches September 13th, 2019, which was leaked a few days ago, but of course is accurate. I'm very happy that the game is coming this year, because it should be noted, in the announcement trailer, they did not give any sort of date. So I was worried, Todd. I was like, are they going to fucking make us wait until 2020 for this shit? But no. September 13th, 2019. Standard version of the game, of course, $59.99, which includes, as a pre-order bonus, gold weapon skins and a weapon trinket. So that is the pre-order bonus that you get no matter which version of the game you pre-order. There is a deluxe edition, which is $79.99, which includes the retro cosmetic pack, the neon cosmetic pack, the Gearbox cosmetic pack, the Toy Box weapon pack, as well as XP and loot drop boost mods. Sorry. So that's a lot of shit right there already, right? But wait, there's more. The Super Deluxe Edition, which is $99.99, and the version of the game that I'm personally getting, it includes everything that is in the Deluxe Edition, plus the Season Pass for the game, which promises 4 pieces of campaign DLC and a Butt Stallion weapon skin, weapon trinket, and grenade mod. So, did you decide on that one, or are you going to go for the digital Super Deluxe?
Oh. No, I already have the collector's edition ordered straight from the 2K store.
Oh, so you're going to go for this big boy then, huh?
It's already ordered.
So the big boy here, the Diamond Loot Chest Collector's Edition, $249.99. It includes everything that I just listed in the Super Deluxe Edition, plus 10 Borderlands 3 character figurines, a Sanctuary 3 model ship, 4 Vault Key keychains, a Cloth Galaxy map, 5 character art lithographs, and a steelbook case for the game. All of this comes inside of a collectible diamond loot chest. Yeah, I was surprised that you were going for that. That's going to take up like half of your room right there. You're going to have to live. You're going to have to sleep inside of that loot chest.
I will.
That's fine. It'll be your new bed.
I'll be honest. I'll probably end up using that loot chest.
You know, so I worked at GameStop when Borderlands 2 came out, and worked that midnight release and kind of arranged all that and stuff. And they did a similar collector's edition for Borderlands 2 where they shipped them in loot chests. And it's a big fucking loot chest, man. It's pretty... this one is bigger than the Borderlands 2 one. It's like pretty damn big. So, I mean, it's got to be...
Maybe I'll do an unboxing for YouTube.
There you go. That'd be good. Do an unboxing video. Yeah, I briefly debated on it, but I collect so much bullshit already, and I already have no room.
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm not really a collector, so this would be the first time I've ever like bought something like this.
Yeah, I used to be really bad about collector's editions. Like, if a game had a collector's edition, once upon a time, I was basically buying it.
Yeah, this is technically going to be the first time I've ever bought a collector's edition. So
now I'm curious. Because you're like me, you normally get your games digitally. Are you going to get a digital copy of the game as well, or are you just going to stick with your disc?
Sweet boy, you already know the answer to that.
Are you going to do peak laziness?
Yeah.
You're basically doing what I did for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes.
So, but at that point you could have a physical copy for, I mean, hell, maybe you could gift it to somebody.
Exactly.
Somebody that wants to bitch about not being able to afford a copy of the game or something like that. Just be like, here, have this and play it with me.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna go for that $100 digital deluxe. I mean, I already know I'm gonna want the season pass and all the exclusive skins.
Honestly, I'm gonna lose myself in that game. Like, that's gonna be the only game I'm gonna be playing when it comes out.
Very, very hyped. It's funny because like we all sort of knew that Borderlands 3 is coming. We had no idea when. And I mean, now here we are. It's going to be out in like 5 months.
Shit's crazy.
So
it's like, I honestly feel like I'm probably gonna like. It's fucking hilarious. Oh Lord, I think my vacation's actually gonna proc around that time.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So that might have to happen.
Just a week of just nothing but Borderlands.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. So we did our most anticipated games of 2019 at the end of 2018. If you had known that Borderlands 3 was coming out this year, that would have
it would have been number one.
Would have been above Sekiro?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easily.
It would have been higher up than Devil May Cry for me, so that it would have been the most Nerd Bourbon's most anticipated 2019 game. Very, very excited, Todd. Very excited for those co-op fun times.
Always and forever.
And that, and Borderlands 3 coming out as a sort of brand new game, I think you can probably expect some video content from us when that game drops.
Oh, definitely.
Especially if they go, I'm one of my biggest hopes for Borderlands 3, and I'll sort of put this out there before we wrap up the show. One of my biggest hopes for Borderlands 3 is that they really go hard on the raiding and the boss fights and the farming. I want them to really facilitate that. Because, we had, raid bosses, quote-unquote, in Borderlands 2. I want them to really make events out of these raid bosses. Make it something that's really worth, grouping up and tackling and make the loot really well worth farming, The pre-sequel was a really big letdown in that regard.
Oh, don't even get me started on pre-sequel.
So I hope that comes back in force with Borderlands 3. We'll see. Because I could definitely see us, getting a group together and doing some Borderlands 3 raids and, recording it and putting it on YouTube.
Be a great time.
So, anyway, that's all I've got this week. Todd, you want to add anything else? Any more high-pitched, hyped Borderlands 3 squeals before we wrap it up?
Catch a rat!
Oh, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next time. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.